This episode of the Marketing That Works podcast is brought to you by Anchor. If you haven't heard of Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast, period. Let me explain. It's what I make this podcast on. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm today to get started. I'm Drew Bedard, and this is Marketing That Works, a podcast about the tools, tips, and tactics that business owners and marketers need to wow their customers and grow their profits.
Hello.
Josh Mancuso, welcome to the Marketing That Works podcast. How are you, buddy?
Man, I'm great. How are you? Thanks for having me once again.
Back once again. Yes. So for everybody listening out there, Marketing That Works podcast back at you once again, back on a more regular schedule this Thursday. And I'm here with my longtime friend and collaborator, Josh Mancuso. And I just sprung this on Josh. I said, Josh, let's have a quick conversation. I'd love to know what's going on in your world, what's working, what's not working. And so Josh said, yes, I'll jump in with you. So Josh, let me ask you this. So Josh Mancuso is a filmmaker, actor, marketer, a jack of many trades. But Josh, you've been ramping up your social media lately with a lot more photos, a lot more videos, doing a movie Monday where you're kind of covering a movie. What do you think's working, and what's popping there?
Man, thanks for noticing that I've been doing things on social media. That's great. That's good news right off the bat.
Yes.
That putting more effort in is resulting in somebody noticing. Yes, I have been doing a lot more photos, and for me as an actor, that's one of the reasons why, trying to get some good headshots and good looking pics out there, and some video also, just because of how good video plays on social media and how important it is. So the Movie Monday thing, so what that is I decided, okay, what kind of value can I add to people and not expect anything in return? How can I just add value to them? I said, well, I'm a filmmaker, but I just love movies in general. So what if I did a Movie Monday? And I got to give credit to my intern from the summer. She's the one that actually came up with the idea. So we said, okay, let's just do a Movie Monday where in 2 minutes or less, I bring viewers a recommended film that they likely have never seen before. It's probably an independent film or something that's not as well known as the big blockbusters, and encourage people to watch it.
Yeah, what's been the reaction to that? Like, because most of the movies that you're covering, I honestly, I've not heard of. If it's 4 of them, I've not heard of 3 of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's been the reaction?
Well, there was one, La La Land. There was one I recommended, which is pretty well known. But other than that, most of them have been indie films that a lot of folks haven't heard of. So the response has been pretty good. I've kind of developed this little core group of people who have said, "Man, I look forward to your Movie Mondays every week." And I was like, "Really? That's great. I'm glad somebody's watching." But I think that not everybody in my audience is going to jump into that. I think that, and I know that that's okay. But there are folks who look forward to it every day, and they'll comment on it. And I've had several people who've been like, "Hey, I watched that movie after you recommended it, and it was great." So it seems to be effective, and it's one of those things. Funny enough, I taught another webinar earlier today, and I shared some info on doing Movie Monday and how, sometimes you need to do things consistently like that, but then sometimes you just need to just shoot and fire, right? Just aim and start firing stuff and trying different things, doing things at different times. And so that's the one consistent thing I'm doing, and everything else I'm really just kind of testing.
Okay, that's good. In regards to Movie Monday and putting that on social, what was the strategy behind that before you started? Was that, okay, you said a little bit. One was service to the audience, like, want your friends and neighbors and maybe some people to discover you. but give value and expect nothing in return. But then, was there also, I want to be in this space. I want people to know that this is what I think about, what I care about, because I want to make films in the future.
Yeah, it is. It's a little bit of both those things. I definitely wanted to create some kind of consistent content that I felt like viewers could look forward to every time. So they know that on Mondays, I'm going to be posting this piece of content. And so it gives them an expectation, something to look forward to, and it keeps me accountable to creating that content every week. And then secondly, is people know me as a video guy. They know me as marketing guy and a little bit of acting and whatnot. But I do want them to associate me with movies, as a guy who knows
That's
movies
good. Okay.
and wants to be associated with that. Yeah. So I think that's kind of twofold. Yeah. So you were already there, man. You already saw it. Yeah, that's exactly right.
I can see right through it.
You can.
I can just feel it.
Because you're a marketing genius.
It makes sense though, because right. Sure. Thanks.
Yeah.
Buddy.
No problem.
But I understand the strategy is that, it's good. It's a nice service to your audience. A lot of people care about filmmaking in your circles, but it's also something psychological to say, I want people to associate, when they think of me, they think of a guy who is who has been an award-winning filmmaker, but is aspiring to make more great films. So I'm chronicling ones that I admire myself. So that's
exactly right. And I'm going to add one more thing to what you just said. That I do want that association, and I do want people, to see that. And I use a video, because I could have just done, here's a Movie Monday, here's like the movie poster, right? And I recommend it, check it out. But that's just not going to play as well as a video. And I've, through my Instagram metrics, I've seen that I'm getting more responses to video content than I am photos, and so and Facebook as well. So it was a no-brainer to use video instead of a photo.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you something, because this will go right into what we're talking about, but a little bit alternative question. Okay, the movie making industry is in a very weird time with not having theaters available to them. So a lot of people are still releasing their films on Prime. They're delaying some of their launches. They're delaying some of their premieres. But what have you seen maybe over the last 3 or 4 months that's really stood out to you from a great, I don't know, maybe campaign or marketing push to still launch a movie in the pandemic, knowing that theaters, most of them are shut down or at a very small capacity? Has there been anything that's out to you that has launched on demand or launched on one of the streaming services that has really impressed you? I know that's like catching you off guard, but I know you watch the space really closely, and maybe there's something that jumped out.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I will say this, that the movie industry is changing. I mean, it was already changing, but this has thrust it into a whole another level because of the last 3 or 4 months. So there are new platforms emerging. So I just saw recently where Amazon is launching please forgive me if I'm wrong. I want to say it's an Amazon and PBS partnership where they are going to be promoting documentaries and pushing documentaries. A whole new thing, like 1,000 documentaries they're going to be bringing in and pushing those as a platform. And for me, and for, I think, indie filmmakers, this is a dream scenario. This whole situation and where the industry is going is moving away from big blockbuster studio driven films. Those are still
really
going to happen. They're always going to happen.
Right. I mean, even in the time of the Avengers, and boy, did they release Endgame at the right time, didn't they?
They did. Yes, they did. They absolutely did. I mean, people are at home right now watching content. I mean, so if you're a content creator, like it's a paradise for you, because you've got eyeballs on screens. And big studios, they're going to keep making big movies, and they're going to push to keep theaters in business. And I would love to see that, because I love nothing more than going into the theater and watching a movie. To me, that's but then I was also sad when Blockbuster closed down, right? Because I love the movie process even at Blockbuster. But the games has changed, and we're going to see way more streaming than we already see. Like you can see from big time shows like The Morning Show and some of these big TV blockbusters that with big stars, big stars, and they're going straight to Netflix, straight to iTunes, straight to Apple TV, and
Right.
we're going to see more and more of that. Which really, this has changed the game for indie filmmakers worldwide, because you can now make films from anywhere, and you can do it on a lower budget, and you can sell your films to these platforms, and it gives people like me a shot. All right, it gives me a shot without having to feel like, well, I've got to pitch my idea to a studio and then see if they'll do it. So
That's
Vimeo
really good.
has got their own thing. Yeah.
It's good to hear you say that, because that's a very glass half full type of attitude towards this time period, because I'm sure, but you're probably right that it's probably more of the big studios that are a little bit not, well, they're probably past nervous at this point. They're probably like crying in their cereal, but you're right that there's another part of the industry that's probably saying, no, that content. I mean, you look at what sports programming and The Last Dance did for ESPN and then Netflix before really live sports was returning. I mean, people are dying, and you're right. Actually, the Amazon PBS thing is very interesting because, gosh, Josh, I don't know if I've watched more documentaries. Are you the same way? Like I've tried to educate myself more in the past 5 months probably than ever, because you're kind of going down the rabbit hole on content and seeing what's there, and because there's a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff, and documentaries are not like, when I was younger and I thought about a documentary, I thought, well, it's boring. It means boring. I want to see something exciting, explosions and comedy and all that good stuff. But documentaries in the last, decade or two, I mean, have really stepped up and are now such a big part of the movie watching experience. And I mean, I never thought that I would really be a documentary filmmaker, and here I am, having already directed one documentary that's about to be on Amazon, and here I have 2 more documentaries in the pipeline coming down my way, and it's just it's fantastic, and it is a glass half full mentality for sure, and I think that's the only way you can look at it. But to look at it, but you have to be realistic, and I think the big Hollywood studios, they probably are. They are nervous. I mean, I remember if anybody watched the Golden Globe Awards, it was really funny. Ricky Gervais, his opening monologue, and he was talking about how why do we need you big studios and theaters anymore? Like, we'll just make our films and send them right to Netflix and to Apple, and they're eating up everybody. And it was all in joking, But I could see the big stars there, kind of like, and the big studios being like, yeah, this might actually happen. And Hollywood's a powerful machine. I don't know that they're ever going to be shut down, and not that we want them shut down, but my point being that the movie theater experience is certainly going to be adapted going forward.
Yeah, very interesting stuff. Would you tell people that that documentary that you're working on up next, that you're going to be raising money for soon? What's that one called again?
Absolutely. So I've been fortunate to have an opportunity to create a documentary, and it's called The Black Appalachian. And it is all about telling the history and celebrating the impact and contributions that African Americans have had to the Appalachian culture. And I think that a lot of folks in the Appalachian region will certainly appreciate that and will think it's really cool. But I think more so, people outside the area will kind of be like, what? I think it appears to be a whitewashed region, maybe. I think a lot of folks from outside the area think Appalachia, they already think probably, maybe poor, and they think white. What they don't think of is Black innovation, right? So, but that's happening in Appalachia, and it's been happening for years. So whether, we're talking about the legendary guitar player and country musician A.P. Carter, the dad to June Carter Cash, Johnny Cash's wife. That whole family, A.P. Carter learned to play guitar from a black man. Like, how cool is that? Like,
right.
You wouldn't have thought that would be the case. All the way to today, kind of these young black entrepreneurs who are really carrying the torch and doing some pretty cool stuff, like right here in our region. So, for example, Rodolphe Pierre Lewis, he owns Action VFX, and he makes movie effects. He's like, I'm pretty sure the nation's leading visual effects company in the country. And he makes explosions, fire, bullets, all that kind of stuff. And his movies have been in Marvel and The Walking Dead and all over the place. And he's a 27-year-old black man living in Northeast Tennessee, and he's got a $1 million business. And I think that's pretty cool. And so our goal is to really showcase that. And speaking of Rodolphe, he is co-directing with me. And together, we like the idea of a black guy and a white guy coming together to tell this really cool story, and presenting unity to the country, and also celebrating the achievements of African Americans in the region. So we kicked it off with a $10,000 grant that I received from the 400 Years of African American History Alliance, and they hooked us up with that. And now we're going to be crowdfunding here. Probably say about 2 weeks we'll launch the campaign, and it's going to be pretty epic. And we're going to raise some money and really try to tell this story well. And it will probably be complete. I would say spring of next year. It'll be, I hope that's our goal, have it done and off the presses and out. And our goal is for it to be big. I want to see this thing on Netflix or a big distribution company like that. At the very least, we will self-distribute, but I think it's got potential to be pretty big.
Well, thank you for explaining that, and I can't wait to help you with it when it's time. And I was about to say, has there been any discussion of the marketing strategy as of yet, of how you're going to get that thing out there?
Yeah, absolutely. We have discussed it, and it's interesting in the film world. There's a whole distribution strategy where you're going to partner up with like an aggregator, and that aggregator is going to pitch your film to you to all of these distribution outlets. And we know kind of the big 5 to 7, but there's a lot more that people don't know about. There's a lot of Roku channels out there, people, that people are watching, and you just may not know. So there's a lot of options for, distributing your film. But what I've found really, really encouraging is that there's never been a better time than right now to self-distribute your film, in which you can really treat your film like a business, just like you would any other product or service. It's like, okay, I'm going to make this product for these people. I'm going to sell it to these people. They're going to buy it. They're going to pay me money, and I'm going to give it to them. So we might make a film, this film in particular, and there's going to be audiences who really want to see it. So if we sell directly to them, obviously we'll in the beginning have some screenings and whatnot for the public to come enjoy. But eventually I think you could, if not this film, other films, you'll see us selling them directly to an audience, just like you would any other service through social media. Which that's unheard of, honestly.
I'm excited for you on that front, for sure.
It's unheard of. Up to the last couple of years, that's really kind of part of that shift that I was talking about in the movie making industry is going this way. And it's very exciting. There's guys doing really well, creating a film and selling it to people who care about those types of films.
Well, good. Awesome, buddy. Well, before I let you go, thanks for jumping on with me for a minute. I love talking about this stuff with you.
Thanks for having me.
Tell the folks what's going on with Mancuso Entertainment, other than this upcoming documentary, just kind of what your week to week is looking like, and then where people can find out more about you.
Yeah, I'm spending my days still producing videos for clients and those who want to better tell their story, and they want to get their story out on social media, because we know how much content is going out there and how much people are watching. And so my job is to help people tell their story and tell it better. And so I'm still doing that for some large organizations and also some small businesses. And it's also kind of, this whole time has led me to doing more webinars and more teaching opportunities, where I'm really empowering other people to tell their story through products and courses and through teaching. I mean, really, because I think that I don't know that I'll ever be out of a job as far as providing video marketing to people, but it is getting more and more accessible for people to make their own videos with basic equipment. And I want to encourage that. Like, I would love for that to happen. And so I found myself kind of doing more of that as well. So my day to day is very much, I'm out shooting something for half a day, and I'm back in here editing and cranking out social content for somebody. And then I'm teaching a webinar, and I'm working on our plans for this documentary and another film I'm working on, and there's a lot going on, and it's very exciting. And I have, of course, our website is just mancusoentertainment.com. And my website is joshmancuso.com. And if you'd caught me a week later than today, you'd see a brand new website because we're about to launch a brand new joshmancuso.com website.
It's okay. That's the great thing about podcasts, buddy, is they're evergreen, and somebody's going to find out about you a month from now, and they're going to go to joshmancuso.com.
That's right, man.
And literally, it's a fully AR, VR. I'm just kidding. It's not, but I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic website.
I'm literally coming out of the screen
right.
into your home. Yeah, it's really cool. Kind of like the girl in The Ring. That was really creepy when she did it, though. I do it much cooler.
Yes, right.
But lastly, I would love for folks to check me out on social. That's where I'm having a lot of success, I think. So Instagram, my handle is just at Josh Mancuso, just my name. And then Facebook, it's at the Josh Mancuso. So please check me out. And Drew, thanks for giving me some time to chat with you today, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, just missing talking to you, buddy. And I just thought, hey, why don't we kill two birds with one stone? I get to find out what's going on with you. We can talk marketing, which we normally do anyway, and find out about your new projects, and we can just catch up at the same time. So thanks for being on the show. As always, it's good to have you here, Josh. And thanks for everybody for tuning in, and we'll check you next week on the Marketing That Works podcast. See you, bud.
See you. Thanks. Bye-bye.